Hello, and welcome to Facilitating Learning in a Virtual World. In this 4-part series, we will be discussing best practices for facilitating virtual learning experiences. Today, we will be reviewing Part 1. This is the basics of conducting virtual meetings and trainings. You might notice that much of what we will be discussing is what we already do at face-to-face trainings. Over the next few minutes, we will be considering how these best practices translate in the virtual setting. One of the first things we should present to teams during trainings and meetings is an agenda. The agenda should be created after the content has been developed. If you are facilitating a virtual training that is longer than 1 hour, how might you chunk the content into smaller pieces? How can you reflect that on your agenda? This is an example of an agenda outline. Providing it in advance can help teams know what to anticipate for the meeting or the training. This is an example of a more detailed agenda. This type of agenda helps participants organize their day and prepare for the e-learning experience. It provides them the opportunity to still maintain a schedule at home so they can plan for their children, other loved ones, asynchronous work, or any other household tasks. Consider which agenda will work best for your teams and your setting and provide it to them prior to the meeting or training. Virtual learning norms are essential because they help to ensure that your participants feel comfortable during the virtual learning experience. These look differently than the typical norms we use at face-to-face meetings and trainings. Virtual learning norms are focused specifically on the virtual setting. If you feel your team can also benefit from the standard norms, then please feel free to add a few of those as well. Again, we want to ensure that our participants feel as comfortable as possible while meeting or learning virtually. Please review the specific features of the platform you are using for your time together. For example, if using Zoom, please review the navigation bar at the bottom. If using breakout rooms, please explain the process now to help save time during the content. This will also help ease transitions and any anxiety your participants may have about connecting virtually. Also, encourage teams to ask questions if they are unsure how to use any features. Let them know we are all learning daily and appreciate their inquiry. External tools are great ways to increase engagement because they often encourage collaboration and interaction among participants. We will review additional tools and pedagogy in parts 2 through 4 of this virtual learning series. If using some of these tools, it is important that we prepare participants in advance. Review procedures for using tools at the beginning of your time together to help with the transition during content delivery and interaction. Introductions are a great way to help team build and to build community among your virtual participants. When working with new teams or multiple teams, consider ways you might have them introduce themselves. If it is a large group, could they use chat to tell more about themselves? Is it a small group? Could they go round robin based on their video placement and say something? If you're working with a veteran team, what quick and fun activity might you begin with? Could you incorporate a Zoom scavenger hunt? Have them change their Zoom name to the way they're feeling right now? You might also consider doing a quick icebreaker. Here's an example of an icebreaker poll using Poll Everywhere. What additional ideas might you have? Be creative. Prior to your virtual learning time together, it's important to clarify facilitator roles and prepare meeting or training materials. When considering roles, please designate a host and a co-host or a moderator. The host creates the meeting and will send the meeting information to participants. This includes sending the meeting link, date, and time, as well as the agenda and any asynchronous work and materials that might be needed. Organization is one of the most important aspects of creating a successful virtual learning experience. Organization is twofold. This includes planning and material access. You might consider using a planning document. Here is an example. Having materials that are easy to access for participants is crucial. consider using a landing page or a slideshow that has everything participants will need, including discussion questions, activity directions, and any external resources such as handouts or forms. I am going to show you 2 examples. This is an example of a slideshow landing page that has all the discussion questions for the entire session included in the one slideshow. The second example is a chart that has live links to all the documents that they might need for their time together. As you are preparing training materials, you might consider placing codes on your slides to help remind you and your co-host of certain activities that will occur on that slide. This will help to keep you organized and on track. Thank you for joining me for part 1 of the virtual learning series. In part 2, we will be discussing virtual learning engagement for meetings and trainings.